Hello. So today's video is basically just going to be about writing tips. So for those who don't know, I love writing stories and poems. I just love everything about writing and like reading. And so yeah, and you probably noticed if you've watched my some of my other videos, my originals. I love poetry and songwriting and music, so those kind of just intertwine. And yeah, let's just get to it. Okay, number 1, don't wait for inspiration. I used to wait for inspiration to write something because I thought those were like the only good ideas I would ever have, but that's not true. You can find ideas everywhere, and sometimes you'll have those light bulb moments, but I've learned that I can't actually rely on that, because if I did, I would be writing very, very little compared to how much I write now. But yeah, consistency is definitely key, and waiting for ideas is only going to make you stray away from that. So yeah, just don't wait for inspiration. Just write when you're happy. Do it when you're sad, happy, tired, just whatever. Just write, because the only way to improve your writing is to just write more, and that's the reality. So yeah. And my second tip would be just to remember that nothing is ever actually finished. There's always room for improvement and revising things. And even after things get posted or published, put to the public, I don't think anything is ever actually like done. I think over the course of time, over history, everything in literature is really just reused and rewritten and revised over and over, and there's nothing bad about that. That's just what it is. And I think there's actually beauty in that, and that's what I love about poetry and storytelling, is that it's lasted this long because stories from back then, like way back then, centuries ago, have been like revised and retold over and over again, but they've been like changed to fit the generation, which I think is really cool. And I just love how literature changes with the world and changes with the people in the world, So yeah, just my point with that is just to remember that you're never actually done, and ideas can be reused. Okay, number 3 would be just to get over the fear of being vulnerable, because of course, like, not everything I write is about like me personally. Like, ideas come from everywhere, but if I'm struggling with writer's block, then I think being vulnerable really helps me like spew out more ideas, and it really helps me with my flow of writing. So maybe vulnerability can turn out to be your superpower when you're writing. So just be honest with yourself, and it's okay if not everyone likes your work, because it's impossible for everyone to like your work. And you might not even like all of your work. I know I don't like all of the things I write, but other people do, even if I write something that I'm like, oh, I don't know how I feel about this, I'll show it to my friends or my sister or other people, and they'll say, wow, I really connected to that, and I'd be like, wow, really? Because I didn't. So then you really never know. And you have to remember you're one person out of all these people that you're showing your work to. It's impossible for every single person to like or relate to you, because everyone is so different, right? And that's just the world. Just don't even worry, like, the right audience will come to you, because as the writer, your job is not to search for your audience, okay? You should you should have like an audience when you're a writer. Like, you should know who your like target audience is, but you also shouldn't be like trying to force people to like your work, you know? You shouldn't have to force people to. And I just think the right people will come to you, and that's all. And yeah. Okay. And number 4 would be to put yourself in your reader's shoes. I think I talked about it earlier, I might have, but yeah, it's super essential to put yourself in your reader's shoes if you're a storyteller like me, because sometimes we'll just think, we'll just get so caught up in our own heads, and I think we'll just get lost in the sea of pages that we'll forget like what our reader will think when they see this. And even though you understand like what you're trying to say, doesn't mean that your reader will. That's why you have to be specific, you have to be detailed. And yeah, that's all I have to say for that. Number 5, so make sure that you make pages for brainstorming and for outlining, because that's going to keep you organized, and that's going to help you jot down all your ideas. Doesn't matter if they're connected or not, doesn't matter if they make sense. It's just to get your brain thinking, and then once you have like a clear idea, you can sort things out and be like, okay, I like this, I don't like that, I'll scratch that out, I don't like this idea, I like that. It's just you sorting, So I think you should do that, like, no matter how small or big your writing project might be. So yeah. Now number 6 would be to take inspiration from everywhere, because inspiration is all around. Like, there are no limitations, okay? For me personally, I take my inspiration from books. I'm reading these ones right now: The Doll Factory, Catching Fire, Flickering, I love this one, and Birds of the Air. Those are the books I'm reading right now. There's like a lot more on my bedside. Movies. I love taking inspiration from objects around me, like, let's say, a pair of glasses, or if I'm eating a fruit at the dining table, I might write about that. I've written about a tangerine, stuffed animals, blankets, pillows, jewelry, just everything. Like, inspiration is all around. You just have to think outside the box. And honestly, like, something that helps me a lot is keeping a notebook with me everywhere. And I never let go of my notebooks when I get a new one. When I watch movies, I like to have my notebook in my lap just in case I see something, or there's a line that I really like that I can like draw inspiration from, or if there's a character I love, I write it down. I have to have my notebook like in my lap when I'm watching a movie, when I'm eating, before bed, when I wake up, just everywhere. It's my baby. Yeah, and other things I love to take inspiration from are personal experiences, of course. I was talking about like vulnerability earlier, and I also love taking inspiration from like conversations I've had with other people. I think that's really cool. And if you don't want to write about yourself, you can write about like stories you've heard, or just different perspectives. I think that's really important in writing. I think it's really important to expose yourself to perspectives other than your own, Because when you start writing about yourself all the time, you're kind of just like putting yourself in a box. You're putting your mind in this like this little narrow box, and it just doesn't. There's just so much more to write about. On to the next one. Okay, number 7. This is my last one. Make sure you are taking breaks when you're writing or whatever it is you're doing. Just make sure that you're actually like taking breaks, because not just like for your mental health, that's important too, but also because you need to look at things with fresh eyes, okay? And it took me a while to learn this, because I thought that to become the best at something, I would have to do it like for 12 hours straight a day or whatever, or just not take any breaks because I need to like absorb the information in my mind. But that's not true. You have to like put spaces, and this is actually really important when you're finished writing a draft. Just leave it alone for a day or two and just relax. Don't like replay it in your mind. And then once that time is over, just come back to it with fresh eyes and then read it over again, and it makes the editing process so much better, so much easier, and you'll achieve better results. So yeah, or like even in between writing sessions, I would say take small breaks in between, and don't like sit down for like hours and hours on end without getting up, because first of all, that's not good for you. I don't care if you're like I don't care if it's like a huge project, and I don't care how important it is. Like, for the sake of your own health and like for the sake of your writing, like take a break, take small breaks, and then come back to it. And like, yeah, you're human, you're not a robot, like you're a writer. Those were my 7 writing tips. I really hope that helped someone. And even if you don't enjoy writing necessarily, I think that these tips can be applicable to pretty much anything, whatever it is that you love doing and whatever it is that you want to create or pursue. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and let me know if these helped in the comments down below. And also, if you have your own tips, maybe put them down in the comments so we can all help each other. So yeah, okay, bye.